The biggest secret in solo leveling isn't Sung Jinwoo's power. It's the system everyone accepts without questioning. A single letter determines your income, your status, your chances of survival, and even how society treats you. By the end of this video, you'll see the rank system in a completely different way. You thought you understood solo leveling ranks. E rank, trash. B rank, solid. S rank, gods. That's the surface story everyone repeats. But there's one boring, almost invisible detail buried in how the ranking system actually works, a detail so plain that almost nobody stops to think about it. And the system never measured potential. It only measured a single frozen snapshot of mana at the moment of awakening, and then locked every hunter into that number for life. Once you understand what that price actually is, E rank stops looking like a joke, and B rank starts looking a lot more expensive than you realized. Watch till the end. You'll never look at the ranking board the same way again.
By the way, I've spent the last 3 months obsessively breaking down solo leveling's power system line by line through the novel, manhwa, and anime. I've cross-referenced every official statement on mana meters, rank thresholds, false rankers, and the economic reality of hunter society. This video is the result of dozens of hours of research, frame-by-frame analysis, and comparing what the story actually says versus what the fandom thinks it says. I'm not just throwing out hot takes. I made this video so you finally see the ranking system the way it was written, not the way it gets simplified online. Be honest with me real quick. After hearing this, do you still think E rank is completely worthless? Or do you finally see the real cost of ranking up? Type E or B in the comments. I want to know where you stand. Let's dive in. Here's the boring detail, the one everyone skips past. When a person awakens, the system does not watch them. It does not test them over weeks or months. It does not check how hard they train, how smart they fight, or how much they grow. It takes one single reading of their mana at one single moment, and it freezes that number forever. Ask yourself this. Have you ever taken a photo of yourself on your worst day? Tired eyes, bad haircut, bad lighting. Now imagine that photo becomes your ID card for the rest of your life. Every school, every job, every stranger you meet from now on only sees that one photo. Not who you become, not how hard you try, just that one frozen frame. That is what awakening does to a hunter. Picture a boy who awakens during a stressful moment, scared, exhausted, mana scattered thin. The system reads him right then. E rank, stamped, done. Meanwhile, another person awakens on a calm day, mana settled, numbers clean. B rank, also stamped, also done. Neither of them did anything to earn that letter. It was luck, timing. A snapshot taken at the worst or best possible second of their life. And here's the payout that changes everything. The entire hunter society, the pay, the respect, the survival odds, all of it is built on top of a letter that was never designed to measure who you really are. It only measures who you happen to be for 1 second. So let's ask the real question. If the rank is just a frozen snapshot, what does E rank actually cost a person? Think about what an E rank hunter's life looks like. Low pay, cheap gear, sent into the weakest gates, which are still filled with monsters that can kill a normal human in seconds. No guild wants them. No one respects them. They are treated like background characters in their own story. Now here is the part that stings. It is not that E rank hunters are weak fighters by nature. Many of them work just as hard, train just as long, and want to survive just as badly as anyone else. But the number on their card was decided before they ever swung a sword. Remember Jinwoo before his awakening reset? Everyone called him the weakest hunter in the world. Not because he was lazy, not because he didn't try. He went into gates every single day just to pay his mother's hospital bills, knowing one mistake could kill him. He was doing S-rank levels of bravery for E-rank pay with E-rank respect and E-rank gear that could
barely protect him. That's the quiet tragedy hiding underneath the joke. E rank was never a measurement of courage. It was a life sentence handed out at random, and the world built an entire economy on top of it. And once you see that, the punchline flips. E-rank hunters weren't the weak ones. They were the ones surviving despite the system, not because of it. If E-rank is a trap, then B-rank must be freedom, right? Wrong. B-rank hunters are the backbone of every major guild. They have superhuman strength. They lead raids. They earn solid money. They are respected, recruited, and treated like real professionals. But B-rank is also where the most cruel gap lives. A B-rank hunter is strong enough to see what S-rank looks like. They fight beside A-rank leaders. They watch S-rank hunters walk through walls and erase monsters with a wave of their hand. They know exactly what that power feels like.
And they also know they will never have it. Not because they quit training, not because they lack talent, but because their mana was measured once, years ago, and the meter said B. That is their ceiling. That is their roof. That is the invisible wall they will slam against for the rest of their career. It takes about 10 C-rank hunters to match one B-rank, but no amount of B-rank hunters can ever become A-rank. The gap is not about effort. It is about a letter assigned on Awakening Day. Imagine being good at your job. Imagine being great at it. Imagine watching someone else get promoted to a level you can never reach, not because they work harder, but because a machine liked their letter than yours from day one. That is the B-rank price. They are close enough to touch greatness, and far enough to know they will never hold it.
By now, you might be thinking, okay, the system is unfair, but at least the top ranks are accurate. At least S rank means something. Here is the final twist. Even S rank is a lie. When Jinwoo gets retested later in the story, the mana meter breaks. It cannot measure him. The chairman of the Hunter Association, Go Gun-hee, admits that if the device could actually show the full range, Jinwoo would read as SS rank, or even SSS rank. But the system does not have those letters, so they just call him S rank. Same label as every other S rank. Even though the gap between Jinwoo and a normal S rank is as wide as the gap between an E rank and a B rank. This means the ranking system was never built to tell the truth. It was built to keep things simple, to keep people calm, to give guilds an easy way to sort humans into payroll slots. The system does not measure who you are. It measures what is convenient for the people in charge.
And that is the real secret. The ranks are not a ladder you climb. They are a cage you are born into. The whole society runs on a fixed mindset. Psychologists call this the belief that your abilities are set in stone, that you cannot grow past the number you were given. In solo leveling, that mindset is not a theory. It is the law. Hunters live inside a caste system. Born into a rank, die in that rank, with almost no chance to move up. Just like real caste systems that have trapped people for thousands of years, the hunter world pretends the sorting is fair, but the sorting was rigged from the first breath. Jinwoo is the only person in history who breaks the rule, and that is why his story hits so hard. Not because he gets strong, but because he proves that the system was always wrong about everyone.
So what does this boring detail actually mean? It means every time you saw a hunter bow to an S rank, you were watching someone worship a number. Every time you saw an E rank get thrown into a dungeon as bait, you were watching a life get priced by a machine. And every time you saw Jinwoo stand up after being knocked down, you were watching the only person on Earth who realized the test was a lie. The rank system in solo leveling is not just a power scale, it is a mirror. It shows us how quickly we accept labels, how fast we sort people into boxes, how easily we look at a single number and call it a soul. E rank is not a joke. It is a human being the world gave up on. B rank is not a comfort zone. It is a ceiling made of glass, strong enough to hold you, clear enough to show you everything you will never touch.
And S rank is not the top. It is just the point where the meter stops trying. The next time you watch solo leveling, look past the shadows and the swords. Look at the board. Look at the letters. And remember, the system never measured potential. It only measured what was easy to count. Jinwoo proved the count was wrong. The question is, in a world that runs on numbers, would you have the courage to believe you were more than you think? So now you know the hidden rule behind solo leveling's ranks. But here's the surprising part. Solo leveling isn't the only anime hiding life lessons inside its power system. Frieren does something even more interesting. Thanks for watching. I will see you again in the next video.